So, you've used an AI, right? And you've probably had that moment where you ask it something and get a totally generic, kind of useless, or just plain weird answer. We've all been there. But what if I told you the secret to getting mind-blowing results isn't about the AI, it's about how you ask? Let's dive in, because we're going to go way beyond simple questions and learn the real art of prompt engineering.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what prompt engineering even is. Then, we'll peek behind the curtain at the AI's hidden creativity dials. After that, we're going to build a prompt from the ground up, teach the AI by showing it what we want, and then, this is the cool part, we'll actually make the AI think through complex problems. By the end of this, you'll have a whole new toolkit to get exactly what you want from any AI.
Okay, so first things first, what in the world is prompt engineering? Well, it's really all about a shift in mindset, from just asking questions to crafting powerful, super specific instructions. I mean, come on, you know the feeling. You ask for a brilliant marketing slogan, and you get something that sounds like it was written by a robot from the 90s. It's frustrating. But here's the thing. That's not the AI's fault. It's because we're not quite speaking its language yet. The problem isn't the tool, it's the way we're holding it.
To really get why our prompts sometimes fail, you have to understand what these things are doing under the hood. A large language model isn't, thinking like a person. It's a prediction engine, pure and simple. It's been trained on basically the entire internet to make one simple guess. What's the most likely word to come next?
And that is where prompt engineering comes in. It's the art of designing your input, the prompt, to perfectly guide that prediction engine. You're basically steering it, pointing it away from the lazy, obvious answers and pushing it towards the exact, amazing output you have in your head. It's how you grab the steering wheel. But here's the secret. Controlling the AI isn't just about the words you use. Nope. A lot of these systems have these hidden settings, almost like dials you can turn, that can totally change the vibe of the response.
And the big one, the most important one, is called temperature. Honestly, the best way to think about it is just as a creativity dial. You can crank it up for wild out there ideas, or you can turn it down for something more focused and, predictable.
This right here is a perfect look inside the AI's brain. If you give it a phrase like, I am driving a, it instantly does the math and figures out that words like car or truck are super likely to come next. But a word like elephant, yeah, that gets a really, really low probability score. It's possible, but not likely.
And this is where that temperature dial does its magic. If you set the temperature low, you're telling the AI, hey, play it safe, stick to the most obvious words, so it will almost always pick car. But when you crank the temperature up, you're telling it to consider the wild cards. Suddenly, the less likely words like elephants get a fighting chance, injecting a dose of randomness and creativity into the mix.
So, here's the bottom line. You gotta know when to use which setting. If you're trying to draft a serious professional email or translate a document, you turn that temperature way down, to like 0.2. You want focused and factual. But if you're brainstorming ideas for a new sci-fi story, oh yeah, crank that dial all the way up to 0.9 and see what weird, unexpected stuff it comes up with. Okay, so we've got the hidden dials figured out. Now let's get back to the words themselves. It's time to actually build a better prompt, and we're going to see how they grow from just a simple phrase into a super detailed instruction. This is prompt engineering at its most basic. Level 0. You just give the AI the start of a sentence like, the sky is, and its prediction engine just kicks in to finish it. It's going to say blue, right? It's simple sentence completion. Useful, but we can do so much better. Now, let's level up. This is the first real step. Instead of just giving it something to complete, we add an instruction. We're telling the AI what job to do. See here? We're not just giving it the review, this is a great movie. We're telling it, your task is to classify the sentiment of this text. That's a huge difference.
But we can go even further. I mean, way further. This right here, this is the anatomy of a truly pro-level prompt. You're not just giving it a task anymore. You're handing it a complete blueprint for the perfect answer, telling it who to be, what to do, why it's doing it, how to format it, everything.
So let's break down those key ingredients. You've got persona, tell it to be an expert copywriter or a sarcastic comedian. Instruction, the specific task. Context, give it some background. Format, tell it you want bullet points or a table. Audience, who is this for? Explain this to me like I'm 5. And of course, tone. Should it be professional, friendly, witty? You're the director. All right, next up is a really, really powerful technique. What if, instead of just telling the AI what you want, you could actually show it?
This is called in-context learning. And trust me, it's a total game changer. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you have a zero-shot prompt. You're asking the AI to do a task completely cold, with 0 examples. But on the right, with a few-shot prompt, we give it a few examples of exactly what we're looking for first. We're showing it the pattern, basically giving it a little cheat sheet before the real test. And here's the key takeaway. When you provide a few high-quality examples, you're essentially giving the AI a little pop quiz, a mini training session right there in the prompt. It learns the exact pattern you want it to follow, and that makes the final answer so much more accurate and reliable.
Okay, so we've learned how to instruct the AI and how to show it examples. But what about the really tricky stuff? The problems that require logic and multiple steps to solve? Well, this is where we learn how to make the AI actually think.
A great way to think about this is with the idea of System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 1 is your gut reaction. It's fast, automatic, intuitive. That's the AI's default mode, just blurting out the next most likely word. But System 2, that's your slow, deliberate, logical brain, the part that works through a problem. Our goal is to trick the AI into using its version of System 2.
And this slide is the aha moment. It shows you just how powerful this is. On the left, you give the AI a math word problem, and its gut reaction, its System 1 answer, is just plain wrong. But look at the right. When the prompt first shows the AI an example of someone reasoning through the steps, it gets the exact same problem perfectly right. It mimics the process.
But here's the craziest part. You don't even have to give it a full example. Some clever researchers discovered that just adding one simple phrase to the end of your prompt, "Let's think step by step," is often enough to kick the AI into that logical System 2 mode. It's like a magic spell that forces it to show its work and usually get a much better answer.
Whew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from creativity dials to making the AI think step by step. So let's wrap it all up into a nice practical toolkit that you can start using like right now.
All right, think of this as your cheat sheet. We talked about temperature. That's the creativity dial. You'll also see another setting called Top P, which basically controls how many different words the AI is allowed to choose from. For brainstorming, you want everything high. High creativity, lots of word choices for totally wild ideas. For a boring email, you want both low for a safe, predictable result. See how it works? You can mix and match these settings with all the other techniques we talk about, the detailed instructions, the few-shot examples, and you have a complete system for getting what you want. So look, you're not just a user anymore. You're an engineer. You're a director. You're guiding one of the most powerful tools ever created. You now have the instruction manual and the keys to the whole control panel. So, the only question left is, what are you going to create?